Okay, so picture this. You're underwater. How long can you hold your breath? Not long, right?
Right.
Well, today we're diving deep, literally, into the world of the Bajau people. They're like the ultimate underwater acrobats.
Yeah, they're incredible.
These folks, they live across Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, boats, stilt houses, that's their life. And they've been doing it for, get this, over 1,000 years.
1,000 years. Imagine that. It kind of blows your mind. I mean, we're talking about a millennium of living in tune with the ocean. Like their whole existence revolves around it. That's a long time for, evolution to do its thing.
It makes you wonder what kind of adaptations have helped them not just survive, but actually thrive in that kind of environment for so long.
Exactly.
And one of the things that really blew my mind when I first read about the Bajau was how they deal with the whole, underwater pressure. They actually get this, pierce their own eardrums.
Yeah, it sounds kind of extreme, doesn't it? But when you think about it, it's a really practical solution for equalizing pressure when you're constantly diving. Of course, there are downsides, potential for hearing loss, infections, things like that.
So what does this whole eardrum piercing thing actually look like in practice? How do they?
Well, it's usually done when they're young, and it's seen as a kind of rite of passage. The actual method, it can vary, but basically it's about creating a passage for air and water to flow through the eardrum. That way you don't get that intense pressure building up during dives.
Wow. Talk about adapting to your surroundings. But we're just scratching the surface here because here's the really mind-blowing part. The Bajau, they can dive for ridiculously long periods. Like we're talking over 13 minutes on a single breath.
It's incredible.
Longer than most people can focus on a single task, probably. And it's not just the time, it's the depth. They can go down to 60 meters.
Think about that, 60 meters. It's like diving the length of an Olympic swimming pool and then some.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So how do they do it? What's the secret?
Well, a big part of it is their spleens. Their spleens are massive. We're talking 50% larger than what you and I are walking around with.
Seriously?
Yeah. The spleen acts like this biological scuba tank, right? It stores oxygenated red blood cells.
Yeah.
So a bigger spleen. That means a bigger oxygen reserve, which means longer, deeper dives.
So it's literally like having an internal scuba tank.
Pretty much.
And what I find even more fascinating is that it's not just the experienced divers. Even Bajau kids who are just starting out, they have these enlarged spleens too.
That's right. And that's what points to this being a genetic adaptation.
Yeah.
Something that's being passed down through generations. Like natural selection saying, hey, this spleen thing, this is working for them.
It really makes you think, right? Are the Bajau tapping into some hidden human potential when it comes to oxygen deprivation? What does this tell us about, the limits of what our bodies can actually do?
Yeah, it's a question that scientists are really interested in. By studying the Bajau and these adaptations, we could learn so much, not just about, human potential, but there could be huge implications for medical breakthroughs as well. I mean, think about things like oxygen therapy, organ regeneration even.
It's amazing what we can learn from indigenous cultures and their unique relationships with their environment.
Absolutely. And I think the story of the Bajau, it's this incredible testament to human resilience and adaptation. I mean, they've thrived in this challenging environment for centuries. It really makes you wonder, in this age of climate change and rising sea levels, what can we learn from the Bajau? Could their story, in a way, offer us a glimpse into the future of humanity?
Something to think about for sure.
Definitely.
Well, on that note, we're going to have to surface from this deep dive, but hopefully this has given you a new appreciation for the incredible adaptability of the human body.
And for the Bajau people.
Absolutely. Until next time.
See?